Hello Geeks and happy Friday. I know I had a video earlier this week on Monday, but I apparently was the first one to finish reading this wonderful book, The Magicians, which that's our topic for this next cycle of people, is a book review about this book. Yes, I will be giving a review on The Magicians by Lev Grossman, and I won't be giving away too many spoilers, I guess, if you do want to read it, and I really recommend you do. So, on with the review. There have been a bunch of reviews saying that this book is like a grown-up version of a combination of Harry Potter and the Chronicles of Narnia, and I have to agree with that for the most part. It's not more mature, but it's more a mature age level, if that makes sense. Because the maturity part would be that they cuss and they have sex and they drink. So it's not really a maturity thing, it's just for a more mature age level. And there's a lot more darkness, not just darkness, bleakness about existence. Like, it's an existential kind of book at times, but I did really enjoy it. Basically, this guy Quentin, and he's obsessed with this series about a group of children who go to Fillory, which is just this land that is very similar to Narnia. Like, it's pretty much Narnia. He doesn't even try to hide the fact that it's almost exactly like Narnia, and he is obsessed with this book series like his entire life, and I can very much relate to that because I am a obsessive Harry Potter nerd, and that's fine. But he actually is accepted into a school of magic. It is a university, pretty much, of magic. Most of it is a lot like Harry Potter in that sense, that he goes to a school of magical learning, but that's pretty much the only part of Harry Potter that I got from it. He's always plagued with feeling like he should be somewhere else. He always wants to be in Fillory, pretty much. Like, that's his escape. And book 2 is almost completely pointless, except for the fact that they're continuously drinking, and they obviously have no direction of what to do in the world with their magical education. They can just live. Like, there's no point for them. They're not doing anything at all, except, you know, drinking and having sex, and there's no point. Quentin never really feels like he has what he wants. It's like he doesn't know what he wants, and that's probably because he, deep down, always wants Fillory. He wants this land that does not exist, or so he thinks. Aww. Spoiler. There is another thing in book 2. They introduce a character named Richard, and he's just a very minor character, but he brings up this whole thing of religion, and they're like, of course there's no religion, we're magic, and he's like, well, I believe there is, and God made magic, and it's this whole little debate. And he alludes to Fillory being an allusion to a lot of religious ideas, which Narnia obviously was as well. So I guess that's another similarity. So when they all go to Fillory, it is the magical place. Everything is the same as how the author described it, but Quentin still feels so unfulfilled and like he has no purpose. He goes back to the real world and he gives up magic, pretty much. He just has meaningless existence. You think it's the end, and then at the very end, some of his friends, Elliot and Julia, and this other girl, who was never in the books actually, they appear to him and they say, we have to go back to Fillory to be the kings and queens, because in Fillory they have to have 2 kings and 2 queens. You think he's gonna say no, and then he says yes. And then you turn the page and you see that there's an epic sequel in the making. Okay. There will still be a story in The Magician King. It was all about how your childhood fantasies don't live up to your expectations, I guess, and how no matter how far away you run from yourself, you can't. Even where you always wanted to be, or you've discovered something that you've always wanted to discover, You cannot run away from who you are and what you've done. I was a little shell-shocked at the end of it. I mean, it's a very depressing book, but it's also really illuminating, I guess. And I almost thought that my experience with Harry Potter would be somewhat tainted after reading it, because I've always wanted to go to Hogwarts and be in that land. When it's real, it is real. It's not just this fantasy anymore. It actually becomes your life. So I was a little sad about that, but then I watched the interview with J.K. Rowling and Oprah, and that made me feel so much. It made me feel a little bit more inspired. Life isn't about giving up. I think Lev Grossman is a little bit about looking at the pessimistic side of life from this book, but I choose to think like J.K. Rowling. No matter what, there is something that you can strive for, and there is something that you can aspire to be, and there is a purpose to life. There's always a purpose, and you just need to find out what yours is. Anyway, I did enjoy the book. It's thought-provoking, so if you're just looking for a light read, not exactly the best thing. I did see some negative reviews mixed in, and I can kind of see why it's not what you would expect, but I do recommend it, and I can't wait to see what you all think of it. If you read the book, tell me what you think, and if you didn't, well, recommend a book for me to read. Go ahead. Adrian and Alexandra, I cannot wait to see what you think of this book, and our guest vlogger, who I shall not name yet, so it's a surprise. Alrighty, I will talk to you guys later. Bye. I just wanted to let you guys know that that video was originally 19 minutes long. So hopefully I didn't leave out an important thing, but apparently I'm not very good at just writing reviews. I'm gonna go edit this now. Fun stuff.